Okay, so you probably clicked on this video for one of three reasons. Either you just completed your GCSE mocks and they unfortunately didn't go to plan, and you're here to seek advice for how you can lock in for GCSEs. You're in that awkward stage of GCSE revision where you're not sure if you should be in full throttle doing as much revision as possible or whether you should have even started yet. Or lastly, you're that kind of person that likes to binge watch study videos instead of actually studying. If I just exposed you there, you shouldn't click off this video. You should watch this video to the end, watch a few of the other videos on my channel, and then click off and start studying. Now let's get into the tips. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to lock in for your GCSEs with only 6 months left. Now the first point is extremely important, and this is recognition that comparison is your enemy. This is because everybody has different aims for GCSE. Some may be aiming just to pass the subject, to go onto their course in college. Some may be aiming to achieve 7s in order to take that subject at A-level, and some may be aiming for the very top grade 9s in all their subjects. Now, once you recognize this, you see that comparison isn't very fair, given that everyone has different goals and everyone has to put a different amount of work in, given that you all have different starting points. Personally, in my GCSEs, I was aiming for the very top grade 9 in all my subjects, and I also knew the starting point I was at. And so I was aware of the different work I'd have to put in comparison to other people. Once you recognize this, you'll see that questions such as how many hours you should study aren't too useful or aren't going to give you too much benefit, given that it's different for many different people depending on the subjects you take, where you are now, and what you want to achieve. And so that concludes my first tip of recognition that comparison is your enemy and that everyone's on their own journey. Okay, my next point is a more practical tip. And this is, if you're bouncing off a bad test result, you have to first identify your weaknesses. Now this would be going through the paper and noting down exactly why and how you dropped each mark. From this, you can create what is known as a retrospective revision timetable, in which you've listed down every single topic that comes up in a GCSE. You then highlight the subject based on how well you performed in a mock, or how well you feel about it right now. From there, you can decipher how much work you're going to need to do in order to improve that subject to your target grade. For example, if you're struggling with a topic such as circle theorems in maths and you did not get any marks on this in your past paper, you would highlight this red. And then the next time you come to revise maths, you'll see that circle theorems is a topic you definitely need to work on, and from which you'd either do catch-up classes with your teacher or search up circle theorems on YouTube, go through all the videos that you think will be relevant to you till you fully understand the topic before you delve into practice questions to master the topic so you won't get it wrong in your next mock, or perhaps the real thing. I did this for a lot of my subjects and it was very useful as I achieved 12 9s. This would allow you to create a retrospective revision timetable, which I'll make a video about, which is the most efficient way to find topics to revise, given that you're studying the topics you find weakest earliest and the topics that you're best at later. This means you can save time, and this is very important as a GCSE student. Straight into my next tip, which would be ditching all passive revision methods. Now, given that you only have 6 months left, which no matter your goals is not that long of a period of time, passive revision methods are simply going to waste your time. You could have gotten away with that in year 9 or year 10, but now you must actually revise actively. Now, my top 3 ways of doing this would be, obviously, active recall, which would be through flashcard apps such as Anki or Quizlet, but I do have a video comparing those if you want to check out why I think Anki's better. A second useful active way of revising would be the Feynman technique, which was named after Richard Feynman, a Nobel-winning physicist. This method, in short, is when you master your understanding of a subject by teaching this to someone else. This can either be a live person or even an inanimate object, but by doing this, you make sure that you fully understand and memorize the topic yourself, meaning it will help you to apply this in harder questions that's not simply memorization. Given that the ability to simplify complex topics shows that you have a great understanding of that topic itself. This is a very good active method of revision. And my last active method of revision, popularized by many study YouTubers, would be blurting. Now this is where you're about to revise a certain topic. You take a blank piece of paper and write everything you can remember about that topic on the paper, to which you then go to your textbook, fill in all the information that you didn't initially recall, and repetitively do this until you can get all the information in the topic with very little left out. Even if you do this with extra prompts, it shows you have a broad range of memorization of the entire subject. A combination of these 3 active studying methods will definitely mean you will not have time left for passive methods, will give you much higher yield and results, and allow you to improve to achieve impressive GCSE grades just like me. Now this leads on to my next tip, which is becoming knowledgeable in exactly how to revise for each subject, given that every subject differs. You may be the type of student who revises exactly the same for every student, and I can tell you now, this is not going to work in the end. This is because some subjects, such as sciences and maths, test your problem-solving abilities, but others test your skills of analytical writing or creative writing. These cannot be revised for in the same way, and so by identifying which subjects you can use similar revision methods for, you can save a lot of time by revising effectively straight away. For example, subjects such as English literature and language, history, and religious studies will require analytical skills in which you may need to have structures for each of your answers. Identifying what structures you're going to use for each answer, you will know exactly how to revise for each of these subjects. You'll be able to give exactly what the mark scheme is looking for in each of these essay writing subjects, which will allow you to access the top band. Through such repetition, you'll have this engraved in your mind, where in the exam you'll be so locked in and know exactly what to do that you won't even need to think about it. However, if you want to lock in for GCSEs, another important tip is that you cannot be revising 24/7. That would actually hinder your ability to improve, given that by revising all the time, you give your brain no time to recover. Hence, missing out on sleep would not be the best idea, or the things that you love to do to give your brain and body a break, given that revising and studying is a very taxing thing to do. Now, by following these quick tips on how to look in for GCSEs, I'm sure you can improve your grades from whatever you're achieving now to whatever you dream to achieve on results day. If you enjoyed this video, please leave any other suggestions for videos in the comments so that I know exactly what you guys want so I can help you in the best way possible. And remember to check out the other videos on my channel before you start your study session. Thank you for watching.